All right, so today we are going to deep dive into some pretty high-end art.
Yeah.
We're talking Maurizio Cattelan's Comedian.
Oh, okay.
You know, the banana taped to a wall that's making headlines again?
Right.
Seriously, a banana. Could you tell the difference between a $120,000 banana and
Yeah.
one from the grocery store? Okay, let's unpack this.
Well, what's so fascinating about this piece is how this seemingly simple piece really exposes this intricate world of art and value.
So back in 2019 at Art Basel Miami Beach, Comedian debuted
Yep.
and immediately became a sensation. Two editions were snatched up for $120,000 each.
Wow.
And then a third one was bought by an anonymous donor for $150,000 for the Guggenheim Museum. What was it about this time that made a duct-tape banana so valuable?
Well, 2019 was a peak for the art market, just a time of intense excitement and high-profile sales. And Cattelan, who's known for his thought-provoking and often controversial work, played right into this frenzy.
So is it more about the idea being sold
Yes.
rather than the actual banana?
Precisely. Cattelan's work is often about challenging our perceptions of art. Comedian forces us to ask, what is art?
Right.
What gives it value? Is it the object or the meaning we attach to it?
Then things took an even wilder turn. Remember those incidents where the banana was actually eaten?
Yes, and I think those events become a part of the artwork's story, raising these questions about ownership, interpretation, and the role of the audience.
First, we had performance artist David DeTuna at Art Basel, who casually walked up and ate the banana, calling it his own performance hungry artist.
Right.
And then a South Korean art student at the Lee Museum did the same thing, claiming he was just hungry.
Wow.
What do these acts tell us about how people interact with art?
Well, I think it highlights how conceptual art can blur the lines between art, vandalism, and audience participation. Like, who has the right to interact with art? And how does that interaction change the meaning of the work?
Those are great questions. And now this infamous banana is going up for auction again, this time at Sotheby's, with an estimated price tag of, wait for it, potentially $1 million.
$1 million.
Yes.
Wow.
$1 million for a banana taped to a wall. Would you pay that much? What do you think it says about how we assign value to things, especially in the art world? This is where it gets really interesting.
Yeah. Yeah, it really challenges us to examine what we consider valuable, doesn't it?
It's definitely gotten people talking.
Yeah.
And maybe that's the point.
Right.
But $1 million. What
Yeah.
do you make of that price tag?
It's a bold statement for sure. Remember, Cattelan is known for this satirical approach. This could be a commentary on the art market itself, a world where seemingly anything can be assigned an exorbitant price.
So you're thinking it's a critique on how we attach value to art. Is it more about provoking a reaction than the banana itself?
Exactly. Comedian forces us to confront this often arbitrary nature of value. Think about it. Why is a painting by a famous artist worth millions, while a seemingly identical one by an unknown artist might be considered worthless?
That's a great point. It's all about perception and context, isn't it?
Absolutely. And Cattelan is playing with those perceptions. He's taken something incredibly ordinary, a banana, and placing it within the rarefied context of the art world.
It's almost like he's saying, if I can sell this for $1 million, then what does that say about the system itself?
Precisely. It's a clever commentary on the forces of hype, speculation, and the cult of celebrity that drive the art market.
And let's not forget the role of the audience. We've talked about how people have interacted with Comedian, from eating it to replicating it. How does that contribute to its value?
Well, it adds another layer of complexity. The audience's reactions, interpretations, and even acts of vandalism become part of the artwork's narrative. It raises questions about ownership, control, and the evolving nature of art in the digital age.
That's so interesting. It's like the artwork takes on a life of its own once it's out in the world, shaped by the very people who engage with it.
And that's what makes conceptual art so fascinating. It's not a static object, it's a dynamic interaction between the artist, the artwork, and the audience. It's an ongoing conversation, and in the case of Comedian, a very loud one.
Speaking of which, this banana is heading back to the auction block.
Okay.
What are your predictions? Will it live up to the hype and fetch $1 million?
That's the $1 million question, literally. It'll be fascinating to see what happens. The art market has been a bit unpredictable lately, so this auction could be a bellwether.
What do you think it will tell us about the state of the art world?
If it sells for close to the estimated price, it might suggest that the market still has an appetite for this kind of conceptual art, even in a more cautious economic climate. On the other hand, if it falls short, it could signal a shift in taste towards more traditional forms. Either way, it's bound to generate a lot of buzz and provide valuable insights into the evolving dynamics of the art world.
I'm definitely going to be watching the auction with bated breath. This banana has certainly proven itself to be a cultural phenomenon, generating discussions about art, value, and the role of the audience in ways that no one could have predicted.
Absolutely. It's a testament to the power of art to challenge our assumptions and provoke meaningful dialogue.
Right.
And sometimes all it takes is a banana taped to a wall.
Well, I think we squeezed all the juice out of this topic for today. What are your final thoughts on comedians? So we've covered the history of comedian, the reactions it provoked, and even the upcoming auction. But, let's zoom out a bit. What's the larger message here? What can we learn from this banana taped to a wall?
I think it really speaks to the power of art to make us stop and think. Even something as seemingly absurd as this can spark important conversations about value, meaning, and the role of art in our lives.
It's like it holds a mirror up to society, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It makes us question our priorities, our obsessions, even the systems that we create.
Exactly. And that's where the real value of comedian lies, in its ability to challenge our assumptions and make us see the world from a different perspective. It's not just about the banana, it's about the questions that it raises.
Yeah, it also makes you wonder what else could be considered art if presented in the right context. Could any everyday object, if given the same treatment, become a $1 million masterpiece?
That's a very thought-provoking question. And I think that's exactly what Cattelan wants us to consider. He's blurring the lines between the ordinary and the extraordinary, the mundane and the valuable.
So as we wrap up our deep dive into this fascinating and often baffling artwork, what's the one thing you hope our listeners take away from this conversation?
Well, I hope it encourages them to be more open-minded about art and to question the systems that dictate value. Don't be afraid to challenge the status quo, to embrace the absurd, and to find meaning in the unexpected. Who knows, you might just discover that the most profound insights can come from the simplest of things, even a banana taped to a wall.
Well said. And on that note, we'll bring this deep dive to a close. Thanks for joining us.